Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our webinar. We are here to learn how to uni. We are going to get to know Project Unicorn's AI-powered assistant. So thank you for joining us today. We're excited to have everyone here, and we're going to jump into our agenda. We'll do a little introduction, and then we'll dive into the tool. We've got a short session today for you, so we want to dive right in and talk about the background of an overview of the Uni tool, the 4 workflow modes, examples in action, and then the behind the scenes resources. We do have some time for some questions, and then we're going to share our feedback and invitation as Uni is in a beta stage. So I'm Tisha Peters. I'm the project manager with Project Unicorn. Joining me today are the Project Unicorn project associates, Erin Faye Caesar and Harsh, and we're welcoming you both to present on today's podcast. So if you don't know, Project Unicorn is an initiative out of Innovate EDU, and we are focused on creating a community of folks who are making the broader case for secure data interoperability in the education ecosystem. We believe that quality interoperable data tools in schools make all the difference and give teachers their Sundays back. So we're excited to be here. Interoperability is, if this is a new term for you, is the seamless, secure, and controlled exchange of data between applications. So as more and more EdTech tools are in schools, all of our technical systems, we believe should be able to operate safely, securely, in a controlled way that moves the right data to the right place. And it really can transform teaching and learning by giving information to educators when they need it, where they need it to help enable innovation in education. I'm going to toss it over to Erin Faye.
Awesome. Thank you, Tisha. And good afternoon, everyone. My name is Erin Faye Caesar. And as Tisha was explaining about Project Unicorn, we have so much to offer. We teach so much about interoperability. Another thing we offer is our resources. This includes webinars, such as this one, publications, and we also provide support through technical assistance calls. More recently, we launched our 6th annual school system data survey, which gathers vital insights from K-12 leaders to map the journey towards data interoperability. We look forward each year to your responses, and so we encourage you to submit for this year's survey. You can either scan the QR code or you could click the link in the chat. You can also join the Project Unicorn community by signing the pledge, which is a pledge that signals to other school networks, EdTech vendors, and your school community that you're committed to helping students grow with interoperability. So again, you can scan the QR code or you can click the link in the chat. Awesome. So a little bit about Uni. What is it? So it's our very own custom AI-powered tool designed by our team. It's an AI-powered assistant for navigating interoperability and other key EdTech quality indicators. This tool was built in Gemini based on 10 years of Project Unicorn and other partner resources, bringing the best advice on all things EdTech. This tool is for K-12 administrators, IT directors, and procurement teams. So how does it work? So Uni operates through several key technical and collaborative features, some of which including expert sourcing, efficiency, constant iteration, and structured logic. So that looks like the resources mentioned previously, which are vetted by our steering committee, and external sources verified by the organization. Efficiency, the tool connects users to vetted authoritative guidance quickly, accurately, and with proper attribution, instead of sifting through dozens of disconnected resources. Constant iteration, the team is constantly collecting feedback to improve the tool. So although what you're seeing right now provides a bunch of insight, there's always room to improve and add even more resources as we gain feedback from the field. And lastly, structured logic. Uni uses 4 specific workflows to provide curated guidance. And I'm going to hand it over to my colleague Harsh to explain what that looks like.
Yeah, thanks, Erin. Thanks, Tisha. And thanks to all of you for being here today. So the way Uni is designed is we have four specific workflows. And the reason we kind of go with this method is, of course, one, we want to kind of cater to your specific needs and your unique context, but also to be able to help you create your foundational artifacts that are actionable and something that you can, continue to build on with your internal teams. So the first workflow has to do with quick reference. And the idea here is to give you standard definitions, walk you through certain frameworks, or structured resources that uni is kind of trained on. So for example, it should be able to kind of walk you through the SAFE framework, a framework by the EdSafe Alliance, which looks at safety, accountability, fairness, and efficacy. And it kind of connects this to the procurement process so that it remains actionable for your team. The second workflow has to do with product assessment, and this is essentially a comprehensive vetting engine. The goal over here is essentially to kind of look at certain products that you're evaluating for procurement, align it to your district's priorities, your student outcomes, and your organizational outcomes, as well as your overall technical infrastructure that exists. So to ensure that all of these are in line, that's what Workflow 2 is about, and I kind of in a minute demonstrate that for you. The third workflow is policy guidance. And over here, what we're trying to do is kind of help bridge the gap between, these overarching national frameworks with your own local unique context and policy guidances that might exist. So, in the third workflow, it can help you draft, certain policy language that you can, of course, iterate and build on yourself. Or it can kind of give you a checklist of sorts to vet your existing policy and to ensure that you're comprehensively trying to mitigate the risks that come from AI. And the third workflow has to do with general questions. And this is, for those kind of broader inquiries that might not fit into your, first three workflows. And so we have that in place. So to kind of quickly demonstrate what the second workflow looks like, I'm going to share my screen and hopefully you should be able to see it. So when you first come to the Project Unicorn website, under the Interoperability Tools tab, you should be able to see the Uni tool. And when you click on the Uni tool, you have this beautiful web page with this cute graphic. As soon as you click the Launch the Tool button, this should launch the tool in your Gemini interface with your Gemini account, and you'll see the custom Gemini over here. So, you can ask it any question, or for people like me who want a little more guidance, I just like saying hi. And of course, the tool itself will give you the four different workflows that you can access. We're, of course, looking at the second workflow, which is product assessment. Now, for those of you that are lazy like me, you can just put in the number as opposed to really writing out the entire thing. And when you click or when you launch the second workflow, it should ask you a list of vetting questions so that it can give you a more personalized output. So it should ask you, what is the tool that you're exactly looking at? What is the intended use in the sense that where are you in the procurement process? The third question has to do with district profile, which is what is the size of your district? How many students are you catering to? Fourth question has to do with what are your desired outcomes? These can be student outcomes or organizational outcomes, for example, improving administrative efficiency. And the fifth has to do with implementation scope. Are you piloting this within a single school or are you trying to do a district-wide rollout, right? So I kind of have a prompt somewhat prepared here. So I'm saying I'm a district administrator. My teachers want to start using Magic School AI for their lesson planning. We're a medium-sized school district, which means we have up to 15,000 students, and our main goal is to reduce teacher burnout, as well as kind of be FERPA compliant and have that secured AI enclave that we talk about. And the last bit is, can you help me evaluate this tool for a pilot program in a single school? And so you're kind of knocking off all of these questions. You can also just write Q1, Q2, Q3 with each of the number selections for all of them. Now, one thing you should note, as with all LLMs, the more context and the more robust your prompt is, the better your output is. So once you've put in your prompt, you should get an output that is tailor-made for your, of course, input in your district. So you'll have an evaluation summary for the specific tool based on freely available information online. And it should be able to map it to each of the five CEDA EdTech quality indicators. You have safe, evidence-based, inclusive, usable, interoperable. And at the same time, key considerations for you as procurement teams or district administrators to keep in mind when you're kind of engaging with these vendors. Apart from that, you also have certain recommended actions. And of course, these are based on four different categories, and we've kind of pre-built these templates. So first has to do with, of course, your legal and privacy, which is reviewing the data privacy agreement and ensuring that it aligns with the district's needs and, of course, national frameworks. The second has to do with evidence and efficacy. So we're looking at teacher burnout rate. So either the tool has some studies that kind of provide the evidence for this, or you need to kind of establish a baseline metric so that when you pilot, you can actually say that this tool has either helped or not helped reach a certain outcome. And of course, technical integration, what is the interoperability systems like? Does it talk seamlessly with your existing technical setup? And of course, the last has to do with accessibility, etc. And the last bit that I want to kind of talk about here is that because we have a robust 50 plus resources that train uni, you get regular citations for where we're picking up a lot of these things. And so, for example, one of the citations has to do with vetting generative AI for your schools. If you just click on the link, it should ideally pop up the document in place. So that's briefly how you can use Uni, and I hope that's helpful. I'm going to toss this back over to Tisha to talk a little bit about the knowledge base.
Great. Thank you so much, Harsh. I love seeing the Uni tool in action, and you may be wondering, just like me, well, how does Uni know what it knows? It's not just a regular generative LLM, but it's actually curated and built on a behind-the-scenes knowledge base that Harsh referenced. So those documents that it pulled up down at the bottom of his demonstration were actually references from the 50 plus curated resources. So our Project Unicorn Steering Committee and our technical advisory committees all worked together to provide critical resources that should come behind the scenes of Uni. So we have resources from ISTE, CEDA, COSIN, EdFi, Future Privacy Forum, FERPA references, and many, many others, including references to the Project Unicorn resources. And all of this is built on, as you saw, the core framework of the 5 EdTech quality indicators. So we always want to consider safety, evidence-based, inclusivity, usability, and interoperability when we're considering resources and looking at tools. So that was just one example of how you can use the tool. I've used it to look at privacy considerations and ask about, what does it mean in FERPA when it says this? What is a school official? And what does it mean when an EdTech vendor says we're a school official? And how do we interpret that as an example? So I'm going to turn it then to our questions. So I'm really excited that we've been able to share all of this information. So if you want to drop any questions in the chat or in the Q&A, we'll take a look and respond to any questions that come up. While you're doing that, adding any questions, let's see. Okay, we have a question. Okay, the question is, what has the feedback been from the steering committee during this testing phase? Are there any concise and actionable outputs that have surprised the team so far? So I'll ask Aaron, Faye, and Harsh if they've had any feedback on this question, but from our interactions with the steering committee, so far they've been very responsive and receptive and actually shared the tool out through their networks. And they were actually part of the vetting process to ensure that we have the right tools linked and listed. So as Harsh shared, the link to the CETA document and the reference to the Student Data Privacy Consortium. All of those things came based on collaborations with the steering committee to making sure that we have the right tools available. Yeah, I love this question. How will the tool be adaptable to evolving trends and frameworks? Harsh, do you want to take that question?
Yeah, sure. First of all, I'd like to kind of give a huge shout out to Cameron Benham. He was a critical player in kind of designing and implementing Uni. So with respect to, the tool being adaptable, we are constantly trying to update the resources. Our steering committee has been really critical in being able to kind of point us to the more recent resources that are there, including our feedback forum for, the general audience. So we're constantly trying to improve and iterate on the performance of Uni, update the resources. Another thing that I quickly want to mention is that the tool is super adaptable based on who the persona is using it. And it's kind of part of the instruction prompt. So whether you're a district administrator, a school principal, or someone from the state, the answers are catered to exactly your unique context. I hope I answered that question well enough.
Thank you. Our next question is, what were the biggest lessons learned from the first version, the GPT version, that made Uni a more reliable for high stakes administrative decisions? Erin Fay, do you have background on that?
I have very slight background on this. I was a part of the testing with the first version of Chat with Uni, which was through GPT. It's gone through two iterations. Again, as Harsh said, Cameron Benham and Harsh put a lot of work into those testing processes and making sure that we were able to get the best version and make sure that we can offer the best resources possible, limited hallucination. We got a lot of feedback from our steering committee. And from that feedback, we realized that Gemmy was the best tool. But I will push this question to Harsh since he was more on the grounds with this.
So I think what we were essentially looking at was one, making the tool more actionable. The second was the original form of Uni was, just workflow for, which is general inquiry based, which is quite fine. But the idea was to guide users to kind of get those certain outcomes or those certain actionable recommendations that we really want. And so we built out this workflow structure, having kind of thought about that from the original GPT release. The other thing is we wanted it, of course, again, in the spirit of actionability, we wanted it to be readable. We wanted it to be formatted better. And so kind of bringing in those structured components into the background prompt was really critical for us to kind of make this one level better than what it was.
Thank you both. Well, we are, like we said, in the beta phase. So this is our first launch. We launched this in January, and we're still collecting feedback. So if there are resources that, as you use Gemini or as you use UniGem, that you don't see in the resource bank that's not providing feedback for, we want to hear from you. If you use the tool and there's anything that you have questions about, any workflow updates that you'd like to see, any resources, anything that's based on those evolving trends and frameworks. We will be updating as things are released in the education ecosystem, but there is a feedback tool on our webpage. So just go back to projectunicorn.org/unitool, and you're able to click on that feedback form link and be able to provide feedback. And it looks like they dropped it in the chat for us, so you can go right to that page. As always, we invite you to connect with us on our website, sign up for our newsletter, join us on LinkedIn, on Blue Sky, on X, and visit us on YouTube to see this and other webinars to support your interoperability and data magic needs. Thank you all for your time today. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you.